إلا بالله العلي العظيم. الحمد لله again we are meeting another time Allah waiting for us to meet again after now more than 1 year, to meet again on love of Allah Almighty, love of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, love of Awliyaullah Azza wa Jal, especially in these holy days also, as last month was the Mawlid of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, also this month is the Mawlid of Rasulullah continuation, and also it is celebration for Sayyidina Abu Bakr Zainani Qaddasallahu and Awliyaullah Azza wa Jal. All these holy awliya who support us, alhamdulillah, we are under their eyes, asking madad from them, supporting from them, other Ya Sahib al-Zaman, other Ya Hadrat al-Sayyid Abu Bakr al-Sayyid, Sayyidina Shaykh Asma Waliyullah al-Sayyid, other Sayyidina Abu Bakr Qawta wa Madani ya Sayyidina Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Qawta ta'alina al-Zuhara wa Allah open our hearts. By divine knowledge, bless us, Ya Allah. By divine delights, make us ones who will look at our faces, who will be peace to our own. And Rasulullah when he looks at our faces to be peace. Allah Almighty give all of them, fulfill all their wishes in the good way which you like and you love, Ya Allah. And make their business prosperous and their life prosperous, health, wealth, good and strong iman, and make them always Ya Allah in prosperity, and all of the nation of Rasulullah, for the Ummah of Rasulullah and us. Inshallah, by these meetings and this crowd, first of all, Allah Almighty promising in the hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in the talk of Rasulullah, that Yadullah ala Jama'ah, the Almighty hand of Allah Almighty, over covering any crowd crowded on love of Allah Almighty and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and Allah will open for them divine knowledge, godly knowledge, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam from the secrets of prophecy knowledge, and then Shaykh Malaysia Abdullah Dasani, Malaysia Nazul Haqqa, and all awliya and Sahaba of Rasulullah Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu all Sahaba, and all awliya will be looking, and they put all of them, their hand over us, under the hand of Rasulullah, the hand of Rasulullah, under the hand of Allah Almighty, to be covering all of us whom we are meeting. We have nothing business between us, or not asking money, not asking anything from this life. Only we are asking to be sincere servant to Allah Almighty, lovers to Allah Almighty, lovers to Rasulullah, lovers to Awliyaullah, and lovers to each other, and just supporting to support us in Abdul Qadir Jailani and Sayyidina Shaykh Osman Waliyullah. We are now in his hospitality, he is hosting us, and for this he is responsible now for all our meetings, and spiritually looking at us under his eyes, and he is presenting us to Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jailani and Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Sayyidina Ali, whom by help they will present us to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam present us to the divinely presence of Allah Almighty, asking shafa'ah for us, Allah to erase all our sins and darkness and to change it to goodness, and Allah Almighty bless all by fulfilling all what they are asking, what they wishing, what they in mind is intention or niyyah, Allah will fulfill it for them. But to be in good intention, good niyyah, good way, not in the wrong way or bad way, not to be anyone making real badly against anyone, always correct our steps, our intentions to be corrected, so that Allah will be blessing us by to be pleased from us and fulfilling all what we ask Allah Almighty. The one who has good intention, correcting his steps, correcting his intention, Allah Almighty will upgrade him and fulfill all his wishes, and Allah will give him whatever he asks Allah Almighty, Allah will give. But the one whose heart is full with hatred to people, hatred to everyone, cowardice, and whatever will ask Allah Almighty, Allah will not listen to it. Because Allah Almighty is saying, goodness will be rewarded by goodness. هَلْ جَزَاءُ الْإِحْسَانِ إِلَّا الْإِحْسَانِ. Goodness rewarded by goodness. And the one who has bad intention, Allah is saying that also, هَلْ جَزَاءُ الْإِسَاءِ إِلَّا الْإِسَاءِ. For the one who has hatred and proudness and bad intention and backbiting and not happy with anyone, as if he's not unhappy with Allah Almighty, and for this Allah saying, I am going to reward him by punishment and badness. And for this the most important dua for every one of us, that Allah to correct our niyyah, our intentions, and our steps to be always in the good way which Allah loves and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Then Allah will give everything to the one who will be asking Allah Almighty whatever he asks. The most important thing in our Naqshbandiyya Aliyya way, in this Sufi ways and all Sufi ways, not only this way, but all 40 ways, the ways coming from Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, karramallahu wajhah, and the ways coming from Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, karramallahu wajhah, all of them, they are based in two pillars. They are based in two important things, which is the obligatory, or whatever we do, practicing, worshipping, it is like sunnah, nawafil. While these two things in all Sufi ways, which Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to build up the Sahaba and make it obligatory on them, and the one who will be keeping them, he will be considered, not only considered, but confirmed in the way of Allah Almighty, in the right way, in the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, way of awliyaullah, leading him to reach to his reality, his spirituality, and in this way to reach to reality and spirituality, Allah will be so generous with the one, giving him whatever he needs from the words of this life and from the words of Akhirah, of the other life. Because both of them in the hand of Allah Almighty, nothing in our hands. Nothing in this earth for us or belong to us. Even our rizq is not in this earth. Allah saying in the Holy Quran, وَفِي السَّمَاءِ رِزْقُكُمْ وَمَا تُوعَدُونَ. It is in heavens. All your rizq in heavens, in the hand of Allah Almighty. And by what all you are promised, it's also in heavens, in the hand of Allah Almighty. It is all up in heavens, in the hands of Allah Almighty. However, whatever He wants, how much He wants, will give the one from wealth of dunya, wealth of akhirah, rizq of dunya, rizq of akhirah, and what Allah Almighty created for him from good deeds or bad deeds, right way or wrong way, how the will of Allah Almighty, this will be the one dressed in this life, in this earth. Nothing in our hand. Don't think that anyone in his hand to be good or bad, or to be wealth or poor, or it is in the hand of Allah Almighty. And for this Allah Almighty say, be careful, don't depend on yourself, Don't depend on your nafs and your egos. Always depend on me, on Allah Almighty. And for this, the first thing Rasulullah teaching Sahaba to say, Tawakkaltu ala Allah. Always to depend on Allah Almighty by making themselves totally depending on Allah Almighty. Tawakkaltu ala Allah, nothing else to depend on except to depend on Allah Almighty. Like this, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he lived and all the Sahaba lived like them. And this is all awliya, how they are living, all by tawakkal to Allah. Because they know that everything in the hand of Allah Almighty, nothing in our, nothing at all. You cannot benefit yourself, you cannot make yourself higher or lower, you cannot do any benefiting to yourself. All benefits, all in the hand of Allah Almighty. Either will be benefiting you, or will be rewarding you, or will be loving you, or will be punishing you. According how much your heart is connected by tawakkal to Allah with Allah Almighty. How much you are well, full with iman, with faith by Allah Almighty. How much you have sincerity with Allah Almighty. How much you have sincerity with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How much they will be rewarding you by goodness and blessing you by prosperous life, successful life, and they will carry from you all the burdens of this earthly life, of the reflection of bad people around you on you, and all hasad, jealous, bad eyes will take it out from the one they, because they are the ones responsible, and Rasulullah making shafa'ah all the time for us in the divine presence of Allah Almighty. And for this, the most important obligatory things in our Sufi way, in the Naqshbandiyya Aliyya way, in the Khatmul Khaja Khan, the Zikrullah Azza wa Jal, to meet as a crowd once a week, to make Khatam and Zikr, and also with the Khatam and Zikr either in the same time or another day in the week, you appoint the Suhbah to have advice, to have tadhkirah. Because in the tadhkirah, in the Suhbah, it is like a mirror for the mu'min, for the believer, showing him what kind of sickness he is carrying, what kind of sins he is carrying, what kind of mistakes he did. So he will repent to Allah Almighty, because Allah Almighty will make him the one who listens carefully to the sahbah, to the advice, to the tadhkirah, and he is taking what benefiting it from it. Allah Almighty will be changing him to be a one whom his heart, the senses of the heart, the sensors of the heart will be connected directly with Allah Almighty, because Allah Almighty promising that the one who will be correcting himself, so that Allah to correct him, Allah will bless him from his eyes, from his ears, from his tongue, from his feeling, from his senses, to the senses of that one whom he wants to be well connected with Allah Almighty. And nothing can connect you with Allah Almighty, only the Sahbah, because the Sahbah will be the advice. It is something which is related to awliyaullah, whom they are all connected with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and connecting all the crowd around them with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasulullah is the only one whom connected with Allah Almighty, as Allah Almighty describing Rasulullah, that he is a human being like you, but not like you. He is totally different. He is connected with me. He is connected with heaven. He has one face with you, one face with Allah Almighty. He did everyone to mawla, And all awliyaullah, they have a face with us, face with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to connect anyone crowding himself with them or coming to them quickly, like lightning with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Rasulullah, like lightning, will be connecting the one with the divine presence of Allah Almighty. And for this, never one sit in the Sahba or crowd or Khatmul Khajatan, except he will be as if just born, no more any mistake, all will be erased from him. It is covered by this awliya who is making the Sahba, which is a real awliya, not a claimed awliya, or whom they say we are awliya, we are like this, we are deputies, we are khalifs, we are all this nonsense, all this is nothing. There is 124,000 awliya, and Allah hiding them. Every one of these awliya, if he will appear for us, the sunlight will be like a candle, nothing, in front of the lights coming from his heart to his face, from his face to the people and the crowd who is around him. Like this, Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jailani also used to be. Like this, Shaykh Osman Waliullah, even after they passed away, how they recognized Sayyidina Shaykh Osman Waliullah. When he was alive, no one knows it except some who are around him. When he passed away, his reality, his spirituality, his ruhaniyah was coming and telling this lady, tell the people that there is an awliya Balad here, come and make for him a grave of Islam. And till now, he is between all of us, between all the crowd meeting on love of Allah Almighty and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Same Abdul Qadir Jailani sallallahu. What make everyone to love him and till now to mention his name and to recognize him? If he is dead, he will be totally finished. No one will remember him. Anyone remember Fir'aun? Anyone remember Abu Jahl? Anyone remember all these bad ones? Anyone remember anyone who is not really connected with Allah Almighty? What makes you till now to be well connected with Maulana Shaykh Nazir Qaddasallahu if he died and finished? What is the thing making you, all of us, to be always remembering him, connecting with him? Because his spirituality, his ruhaniyah, his reality, still his essence is alive between us. What makes us always to be seeing and loving to see and to visit Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? If he died like the Wahhabi they say and finished, then no one will be to go to visit or to remember him. But Allah made him a one who is blessed by divinely godly body. His element, not like our elements, his elements from the divinely lights of Allah Almighty. And for this, Allah says in the Holy Quran that Rasulullah to be known for all of you. He is among you, between you, forever, from pre-eternal forever. Muhammadun Rasulullah is connected with La ilaha illallah. Always he is still alive, surviving between not only his ummah or children of Adam, but with all creations, making the lights of Allah Almighty, the life from Allah Almighty to be working in all creations. Without the interference of Rasulullah between us and Allah Almighty, no one will be existing. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is existing by the lives of Allah Almighty, while all creation, all universes, all heavens, even the throne of Allah Almighty, all earths, they are existing by the lives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They say, Maulana Shaykh Nazir, Grand Shaykh, all awliya, Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jailani Qaddasallahu, Sayyidina Shaykh Osman Waliullah, Sahaba of Rasulullah, Sayyidina Abu Bakr As-Siddiq, radiyallahu anhu, Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu anhu, all these big awliya, they smashed and Sahaba, they smashed their humanity. They smashed their nafs, their egos. They make them to be no more existing. Only the lives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be existing in them. And for this they are existing by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Whom Rasulullah upgrade them to be in his maqam, to be also these awliya existing by the lives of Allah Almighty as well as the lives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And for this we are in need for awliyaullah. We are in need for Sahaba. We are in need for one to connect us with the divine, the godly word of Allah Almighty. Otherwise, we will be in the hand of shaitan, of Satan, and in the hand of devils, and in the hand of our egos, only spending all day working, all night sleeping, all coffee houses, useless life. Then all at a sudden, we will wake up by death, the angel of death coming and want to take our soul. What we did? Nothing. And then we will be blaming ourselves, saying, oh, if we were following Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if we were following awliyaullah, was better for us than to follow the devils and the bad ones, whom they make us to forget Allah Almighty, to forget zikrullah, and to forget the way of Allah Almighty, and now we are under the punishment of Allah Almighty. Better for us to be with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who will make us well connected and well beloved by Allah Almighty. This an ayat in Holy Quran. يوم يعض الظالم على يديه يقول يا ليتني اتخذت مع الرسول سبيلا يا ليتني لم أتخذ فلانا خليلا. This is the ayah. And for this our Naqshbandiya Aliyah we built up on Khatm al-Khaliqan and Zikrullah. All you practicing, all you worshipping alone, it will not give you well connection with the divine, the godly word of Allah Almighty and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and awliya, because all kind of thoughts will be coming, all kind of satanic playing with the heart of everyone. Everyone will be losing the concentration and well connection with Allah Almighty. Even his praying, and shaitan will be whispering, and thoughts going, coming, no more well connection with Allah Almighty. And then either Allah will accept, or Allah at least will not punish you Yawm al-Qiyamah to repeat it on the cover of Jahannam. But it will not be connecting you with Allah Almighty and Rasulullah, will not giving you a divine life from Allah Almighty. وَلِخَتْمُ الْخَاجَدَانَ ذِكْرُ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ related to these big awliya, whom they are well connected and can carry all the crowd, whom they are sitting in Zikrullah, in the Khatm Khajaka, to be well under the hand of Allah Almighty, under the hand of Rasulullah, and they will take responsibility to erase for them all their sins. Allah Almighty, for the sake of this awliya, whom He loved them, He will erase all the sins and mistakes and badness of all the crowd sitting with them and connected with them for the sake of this awliya. And for this, we see this awliya, even hundreds years ago or several years ago, passed away, and still we remember them, we love them, we see ourselves as if we are still in touch with them. Always you are remembering them, because their spirituality is still alive, their essence still alive and between us, and they are the one, because we make bay'ah with them, they are the one whom they are taking care for our hearts and for our spirituality, not leaving us. Don't think that Maulana Shaykh Nazir leaving anyone, or Grand Shaykh leaving Maulana Shaykh Nazir or anyone. or grandsheikhs or till Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu alayhi, never they are leaving anyone. They are the ones whom they are carrying any crowding themselves on their love and making Khatmul Khajatan and Dhikrullah Azza wa Jal. Because the Khatmul Khajatan and Dhikrullah is started and was taught to Rasulullah by Allah Almighty by Himself, like the 5 prayers. And for this Allah Almighty making the 5 prayers obligatory in all children of Adam alayhi salam. It is obligatory. If you don't pray, Rasulullah said between Iman and Kufr, to leave prayers, not to pray. If you don't pray, you are not anymore a mu'min, you are a kafir. And Allah Almighty promising and swearing by His Almighty that everyone left the 5 prayers, He is going to repeat them on Jahannam, on hell, on the cover of Jahannam. And the cover of Jahannam is over Jahannam, and by 70,000 years under it Jahannam firing, making this cover to be like iron or melted like milk. Whenever anyone step on it, quickly he will be melted. Nothing remains from him. Allah created him again. And like this until he will finish all whatever he didn't pray in this life from the obligatory. For the Sunnah, Allah is not punishing, because the Sunnah, Allah gave it to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to reward the one who survived the Sunnah and prayed the Sunnah, and the one who doesn't pray the Sunnah, Rasulullah will not reward him, and his paradise will be empty, like a house without furniture. Like this, the Sunnah of Rasulullah, they recommended the 2 or 4 rak'at before the obligatory, after it the awabin, the tasbih prayer, najat prayer, tahajjud prayer, duha prayer, ishraq, all these prayers, all the Sunnah of Rasulullah which we survive and we do by it, all as if you are filling your paradises with all kind of palaces and with all kind of furnished, well furnished. Allah will make it prosperous paradise for you. While the one who is satisfied only by the obligatory has a paradise, but it will be totally empty. But he will not go to Jahannam, to hell. While the one who is in Khatmul Khajatan and Dhikrullah Azza wa Jal, crowding himself and the Suhbah, Mawlana say, Allah Almighty will not enter him to the 8 paradises. These awliya, these big awliya, whom they are well connected with Rasulullah, and Rasulullah well connected with Allah Almighty, will be ascending all this crowd, whom they are meeting on the Khatmul Khajatan and the Suhbah, the advice to be in paradises over the throne, in neighborhood to Allah Almighty and Rasulullah. Allah saying, إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ في مقعد صدق عند مليك مقتدر. These are dressed by taqwa, because the Suhbah dressed by taqwa from Allah Almighty, rewarding Allah Almighty this big awliya by making all the crowd sitting with them to be dressed by taqwa. And Allah saying, the one who is dressed by taqwa, godly taqwa from Allah Almighty, he will be in maq'ad sidqin inda malik muqtadir. He will be in neighborhood, kings of kings, to Allah Almighty, in neighborhood to Allah Almighty and to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And for this, it is built up the Sufi way, especially the Naqshbandiyya Aliyya way and the other ways, on meeting a crowd, because not all the time we can see Mawlana Shaykh Nazir, because he passed away, or physically when he was between us, but he is still alive between us, or physically between us, representing by the Khatmul Khajatan and by the advice by the Suhbah. They will be making as if in between you, all awliya Allah, all the golden chain, all the chain of awliya, all the chains of all 40 ways awliya, like Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jailani, Muhyiddin ibn al-Arabi, Sayyidina Shaykh Osman Waliullah, Sayyidina Rifa'i, Sayyidina Shifti, all awliya Allah, as if you are sitting with them, connecting with them. They are available. They are the spirituality with every crowd. Even billions of crowds, they will have billions of spirituality to be spread in all these crowds who are meeting on love of Allah Almighty and Rasulullah and their love to make Khatmul Khajatan and Zikrullah Azza wa Jalla. And the same, and this Khatmul Khajatan and Zikrullah is considered as if 2 rak'at. For example, Dhuhr prayer, it is 4 rak'at. You cannot pray only 2 rak'at. You must pray the 4 rak'at. The Khatmul Khajatan and Zikr, it is 2 rak'at. And the Suhbah, the advice, the tazkirah of awliya Allah, or the ones whom is connected, when the spirituality of awliya Allah appearing from them and touching the crowd to connect them with this awliya, and the awliya with Rasulullah, and Rasulullah is the divine presence of Allah Almighty, it will be like the second 2 rak'at. Then you will be completed your prayer. Like this, if you want to complete your Sufi way, and to be one whom upgraded to dress divinely, godly body from Allah Almighty, and to be one dressed by divinely elements and lights from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you must at least to attend the Khatm and Zikr once a week, and to be sitting in the Suhbah of awliya Allah. Not the Suhbah of ulama. This is not important. All the advice of the ulama, because the ulama, all of them, the scholars, the ulama, the mawlawi, all they are not connected. They need to be connected. They need awliya to connect them. And only the awliya Allah, they are connected with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And only between all the prophets and all Sahaba and all Ahlul Bayt and all awliya Allah, the big ranks of awliya Allah, the big imams of awliya, all of them, they need to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and all of them making their best to be connected with Rasulullah. And without the shafa'ah of Rasulullah for them, never Allah will be pleased from them. Only Rasulullah. And for this he said, at the end of his life, "O my Sahaba, now I will reveal for you something Allah addressed to me. I am the Lord of children of Adam alayhi salam, and no proud. I don't have any proudness by this, but Allah appointed me to be the Lord of children of Adam. Ana Sayyid waladi Adam wala faqr." The Lord means the one who is responsible and training the realities, all the realities and physical bodies and all prophets, all mankind, all children of Adam alayhi salam, without the interference of Rasulullah between them and Allah Almighty, no one will be saved. All of them, even prophets, they need shafa'ah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Even awliya, they need shafa'ah of Rasulullah. And like this, we need shafa'ah of awliya so that we can get the shafa'ah of Rasulullah. And the same, if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not making shafa'ah for anyone, never Allah Almighty opening his door to that one. Allah will open his door to the one whom is coming through his door. And the door of Allah Almighty, Allah saying, "La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam." And so if you are not finding an awliya to connect yourself, at least connect yourself to Khatmul Khajatan, to Zikrullah Azza wa Jal, and connect yourself to the Suhbah, to the advice of awliya Allah Azza wa Jal. And all of you, you are well educated one, all of you, you know to read well and to understand well the teaching of Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jailani, teaching of Mawlana Shaykh Nazir, teaching of Grand Shaykh, of Awliya Allah, plenty of books they did. Some, it is real books coming from them. Some is a fake book coming from their deputies or from their murids, whom, as they understand and how they want, they pull these books and they say it is related to this shaykh or that shaykh, but it is not like this. And so the one must be very careful. And for this, the Sahaba used to ask every tiny thing, the biggest thing to Rasulullah, to be well clarified for them from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so that not to misdo it. Not any book you can take it and read it, and it is said it is from Maulana or Grand Shaykh or Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jailani or this or that is a real book. No. Plenty of them are fake books. The one who is writing them according how he likes to, our understanding, or how he likes to make himself so famous, he would be putting all his knowledge in it, instead to put the knowledge of Maulana Shaykh Nazim or Grand Shaykh or Awliyaullah or Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jailani, and they will say it is there, these are the Awliya talks, advice. No, it is not like this. Every advice which you feel after you read it, you are well connected with Allah Almighty and Rasulullah. All burdens taken from you, this is a real teaching. And anyone which is not making you to feel like this means it is useless, nothing, don't approach to it. And the best for you is to keep yourself well connected. You have this, for example, for us is Maulana Shaykh Nazim Qaddasallahu Surah. For others, for the one whom Qadir way is Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jailani. Whom the Shazili way is Sayyidina Imam Shazili. Sayyidina Abu Hassan al-Shazili, radwanullah alayhi. The one whom they are well connected is Sayyidina Ahmad al-Rifa. The one whom they are well connected is Sayyidina Shahusna al-Yusuf. But at the end, all these awliya, they are taking from the ocean of Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu anhu. And Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu and Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu anhu, they are taking from the ocean of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he is the only one and only one taking from the ocean of Allah Almighty directly by revelation from Allah Almighty, without the interference even of Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam. Rasulullah used to bring the revelation, the wahy from Allah Almighty, to give it to Sayyidina Jibreel to descend into his physical body. But really the spirituality, the ruhaniyah of Rasulullah used to get it from Allah Almighty, from the eternal. Allah Almighty blessed Rasulullah by all godly knowledge forever, and for this he was sealed of Prophet and was the will of Allah Almighty which appeared in the divinely presence of the hidden treasure which known as Allah Almighty, to be in the shape and in the picture of Muhammadun Rasulullah. For this was connected Muhammadun Rasulullah from pre-eternal, before beginning, forever without ending, with La ilaha illallah. And for this nowadays, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all Sahaba and Awliya are present in every crowd, meeting on Khatmul Khajatan and Zikrullah, and meeting on the Zuhbah of Awliyaullah Azza wa Jalla. Because this awliya, for example, if you open a book of Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jailani and you make Zuhbah for a crowd of people, who is responsible? Not the one who is reading for you or talking, but responsible the one who all this knowledge, which is Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jailani. He will be responsible for this crowd to connect them with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The same now we are reading this, what I am talking from Grand Shaykh and Maulana Shaykh Nazim, Qaddasallahu. I am, as you listening to what coming from them, and they are responsible for us to connect us with Siddiqs, Sayyidina Shah al-Naqshband, Sayyidina Ali with Rasulullah, connected with Rasulullah. because this is their knowledge. They are talking, only I am translating, listening as you are listening. And for this branch, and Maulana said it is obligatory once a week to have at least, if more better, but at least once a week to have a meeting for Khatam and Zikr Khatam Khalaqan and Zikrullah Azza wa Jal. Either with it, if there is time to make Sahba, advice, Tazkirah, or another day to meet for Sahba or the Tazkirah. Otherwise, it has not completed the prayer of you as for Raka'ah, which is the obligatory. Then you will not get benefit from the Sufi way. Grand Shaykh Qaddasallahu Sirruhu, Mawlana Shaykh Nazir is saying now, and Grand Shaykh, when they used to stay 5 years, 8 years, 6 years in suluk, in seclusions, in khalwa, in caves, in graveyards, in mountains, alone, no one with them. They used to make shower every 24 hours, 5 times, 6 times for every prayer. By what? You know, in their countries, there used to be snow coming, and so they melted the snow to be water, and by snow they used to make wudu ablution and to make showers. Now no one can touch a cold water quickly, make it hot. With snow they used to finish themselves and they smell themselves, and one they used every day to put their turban, their amama, in front of them and to make for it a sahbah. No one, because they are in suluk, in seclusion, no one with them, so they put their turbans and they make sahbah so that they will not disconnection with Rasulullah. Because whatever they make sahbah to their turbans, it is for them coming from Rasulullah, translating it as if the sahbah, as if the turban is another one sitting with them, and they make the sahbah so that Rasulullah will open for them divine knowledge, and they will be benefiting from it, so that they can carry the crowd which is going to sit in between it from the nation of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And they will make these people not connected only to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, also to Allah Almighty, but they will make them to be dressed by whatever ranks or maqams they speak in the sahbah. Allah will dress the one, this crowd. And whatever mistakes or sin they will mention, also this crowd will not be questioned Yawm al-Qiyamah, and it will be erased these mistakes from them. Like this, they have power given from Allah Almighty and Rasulullah to carry the crowd which is sitting with them. In time of Sayyidina Khalid al-Baghdadi, Qaddasallahu Sirruhu, Naqshbandi, the Imam of the Naqshbandiya Aliyah way before 300 years, is one of our grand Shaykh in the Naqshbandiya Aliyah way. For 7 years, when Rasulullah ordered him to leave Baghdad and to immigrate to Sham al-Sharif, only the Sham can we say Sham al-Sharif. Like Medina, they say Medina al-Munawwar. Like Makkah, they say Makkah al-Mukarramah. For the Holy Land of Sham, only can be said Sham al-Sharif. You cannot say for Baghdad or any other country is a Holy Land or Sharif, only for the Sham, Damascus. And as Medina, you say al-Munawwara by Rasulullah, full with light by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Makkah honored by Allah Almighty. Only these three haram, they are honored by Allah Almighty, because Sham al-Sharif considered all Jerusalem, Quds al-Sharif altogether was known as Sham al-Sharif, Holy Land, where all the prophets used to be living. For 7 years, when Rasulullah ordering him to immigrate to Damascus, to Sham, was not finding anyone to sit with him to make Khatma Khajatan, because he was a Kurdish, his tongue is not Arabic, and all the people of Damascus, their tongue is Arabic, no one understands what he was saying. And so he used for 7 years to do the Khatm al-Khajatan alone. Not the small one which we do, but the big one which he used to complete 1,000 Qul Huwallahu Ahad, 1,000 Salawat al-Sharifa, 700 Alam Nashrah al-Sharif, and 100 times Fatiha. Like this is Khatm al-Khajatan alone, 7 years, not finding anyone to sit with him to make the Khatm al-Khajatan, because the ulama used to say, don't go to this sheikh, he is not a sheikh, don't approach to him, to the people. And some people, they believe the Mawla is the ulama, because the Mawla is the ulama, they don't like awliya before. At that time, they used to be attacking the awliya of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So no one came to Sayyidina Khalid. 7 years was in Damascus, in Sham al-Sharif, no one with him. And he used to make every week the Khatm al-Khajatan alone, to put his turban near him and make with it the Khatm al-Khajatan and make a suhbah for it. After 7 years, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told him, go down to the square of your area and see who going every morning to work, give him money, how much he will take his daily salary, how much they give him, and tell him, come sit with me 1 hour. And like this, Malaika bringing money to him, and he used to go and give to everyone going to work money according how much he earn every day, and he would go with him and sit 1 hour to make for them khatam, and for several years like this. Then after that, Rasulullah told them, no more Malaika will bring you money. Now you must tell them, the one who wants to come for Allah Almighty must welcome. The one who doesn't want, don't come. Then he announced that the one who wants to come for Allah Almighty, let him come. The one who doesn't want, no more money. I am bankrupt. But subhanallah, Maulana said that the people without money, they were much more coming than the ones who used to come with money to give them money. Until all the ulama of Damascus, all the people, they took bay'ah from him and used to be his murid. He used to have millions of murids. All the citizenship of Damascus, they used to be them his murid. When he passed away, he had 300 deputies, Khalif, and all of them big ulama, not ordinary people, but big scholars. And from between them, he gave it to one from Dagestan, the Sultanate of Dagestan at that time, near Russia, to Sayyidina Shaykh Ismail. He gave his secret and he told him, go and spread the Naqshbandiyya way in Bukhara and in Dagestan, in this. And like this it comes to Grand Shaykh Mawlana Shaykh Abdullah Dagestan, until Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent it to him from Cyprus, Mawlana Shaykh Nazim Qaddas sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to give it to Mawlana Shaykh. He stayed nearly 77 years in Damascus, Sayyidina Khalid al-Baghdadi. For 7 years no one come. Then 30 years all the citizens with their scholars, their mawlawis, all they used to be his followers. And instead, he used to pay them, they used to bring their zakah, their sadaqah, everything to him, to distribute to the poor people and to make everyday food for most of the Sikh families of Damascus. Like this, he spent his life, and how much he lived. Sayyidina Khalid al-Baghdadi, all grand sheikhs, all awliya, all of them, of Naqshbandiyya Aliyya way, or 40 ways, like Sayyidina Abdul Qadir al-Jailani, all the imams of all ways, Sufi ways, no one passed away from this life except carrying a big burden and punishment coming on the people, on the nation of Rasulullah. Allah wants to punish them, descending punishment from the throne over them to punish these people whom they say They are nation of Rasulullah and committed sins and badness. And so they carried their bodies and they passed away. Sayyidina Khalid al-Baghdadi al-Naqshbandi qaddasallahu sirruhu, the Imam of Naqshbandiya Ali away, he passed away and his age was around 49 years old plus 9 months. Yani less than 50 years. His age was when he saw that a big punishment coming from the throne of Allah Almighty, descending of all the citizens of the Middle East area, Sham, Saudi Arabia now, Medina, Munawwara, Makkah al-Mukarramah, all the area of where he was living, the Allah sending, because they missed the way, they were doing very badly against Allah Almighty from sins and badness. Allah sending over them ta'un, yellow fever like malaria is going to come over them, and Allah wants to take all of them by this sickness. At that time, no medicine for it. Allah didn't make them to create medicine. Every time Allah gives them they know how to do a medicine for any sickness. Allah will send another sickness if they cannot get medicine. And nowadays, everyone got cancer, cannot be cured from it. They are not till now finding a medicine for it. Any kind of sickness they find for it a medicine, even Allah makes them to find a medicine for it. Allah will create another sickness which they cannot find medicine for it, to punish or to upgrade the one who got the sickness and to pass away as shaheed. Because Allah promising Rasulullah, everyone who died by a sickness from your nation is considered as a shaheed. How the shaheed in the battles? The same, the one who passed away by a sickness will get from Allah Almighty the good tidings as a shaheed. He will pass away, and Allah Almighty will save him from Jahannam, and without questioning he will enter him to Jannah, because Allah take him out of his life by this sickness. And the one who will be cured from the sickness which will be coming over him, Allah Almighty will be erasing all his sins from his childhood till that age where the sickness comes over him. This who will be cured from the sickness. And so he was carrying on his body by this yellow fever, ta'un or malaria, and the 7 whom they come to wash his body, they were a group of 15 people of his police washing his body, just putting to wash the body of Sayyidina Khalid, they died from the power of this sickness. Then 7 times, 15 after 15, to finish cleaning his body, and all these groups of people, they died from the power of this strong sickness, which bala, this punishment which Sayyidina Khalid al-Baghdadi carried it on his body, so that it will not affect anyone of the nation of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Same Maulana Shaykh Nazim, he didn't pass away except in hospital even, and carrying all the burdens of his murids and what was punishment coming over the nation of Rasulullah. Grandshare the same, and all grandshare the same happened to them, like that they carry by their bodies all these punishment which coming over the nation of Rasulullah, and they left this life. And for this Allah Almighty is rewarding them, making any crowd, anyone connected with them, to be beloved to Allah Almighty and beloved to Rasulullah, and to be dressed by divine body, and no more to be questioned in grave or Yawm al-Qiyamah. For the sake of that awliya, like Maulana Shaykh Nazim, like Shaykh, like Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jailani, like Sayyidina Shah al-Naqshband, like Sayyidina Shaykh Osman Waliullah, like Sayyidina Ahmad al-Rifai, Ridwanullah alayhim. How about Sahaba, like Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Sayyidina Ali Ridwanullah alayhim? Anyone connected to one of them or met in his life and make bay'ah with one of them, never will be questioned by Allah Almighty. Allah, for their sake, He will grant them by shafa'ah of Rasulullah and will change their badness to goodness and send them to Jannah for the sake of awliyaullah Azza wa Jal, whom they are well connecting them with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has all got the power from Allah Almighty to be well connecting everyone with Allah Almighty, not even letting one to be lost from his hand or missed from him or taken by shaitan, so that he will not be responsible in day of judgment. In the divine presence of Allah Almighty, tell him that shaitan stole from me or take from me one of this amana you gave me, this trust, children of Adam alayhi salam. And for this he said, I am the Lord of children of Adam alayhi salam, the shepherd, the Lord, the one who is responsible not to lose one of them, but to give them as Allah Almighty gave him all children of Adam. With Adam, in day of promises, he will return them clean and well, divinely one, well dressed by lives of Rasulullah to the divine presence of Allah Almighty in the day of judgment. Like this, the nation of Rasulullah, the ummah of Rasulullah, like this will be treated by Allah Almighty and Rasulullah in the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. And for this Rasulullah, he say, Allah promising me and telling all the prophets until my seed of Prophet Muhammadun Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all his nation, even the disobedient one in his nation, will enter to paradises, to Jannah. No one of you prophets and your nation will enter to Jannah. Like this, Allah promising Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam until the last disobedient of him, of his nation, enter to Jannah. Then start all the prophets like Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam, Nuh alayhi salam, and all the prophets of their nations. Then they start, after the last disobedient of the nation of Rasulullah enter to Jannah, they start these prophets and their nations to enter to Jannah, to paradise. May Allah forgive us and mercy us. Inshallah, we continue another. Allah, 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 Aziz, Allah, 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 Kareem, Allah, 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 Subhanallah, Allah, 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 Subhanallah. You are Sultan, Allah Almighty, and you are your servant. Allah Almighty, forgive us, mercy us, support us, Ya Rabbana, Ya Allah. Support our weakness, Ya Allah. Bless us by strong iman. Bless us by reality, spirituality, divine knowledge, by spiritual wealth, Ya Rabbana, Ya Allah, and physical wealth and healthy life, Ya Rabbana, Ya Allah. Ya Rasulullah, we are your weakest ummah. Bless us by your shafa, by your lives, by your love, by your forgiveness and mercy. And make us, Ya Rasulullah, well connected with you and connect us with Allah Almighty. Maulana Grand Shaykh and Maulana Shaykh Nazir, O Allah Almighty, and also Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jailani, Qaddasallah, Sayyidina Shahasna, and all awliya, bless us to be well connected with Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, Sayyidina Ali, with Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Bless us by their lives, by your lives, under your eyes, under the hand of Allah, to be under the hand of Rasulullah. Always to be in your advice, even spiritually. Always make in our hearts advice, sahba to us, as waves will come in our hearts to us, and by ourselves to be always listening to what comes to our hearts from you, Mawlana Shaykh Nazir. O Allah Almighty, make us to be reaching time of Sahib al-Zaman, Sayyidina al-Mahdi alayhi salam and Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam. Make us sincere followers to them, sincere followers, and going to Mawlana Shaykh Nazir, Fulan Shaykh, Fulan Shaykh, and to all awliya Allah, and Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jailani, Sayyidina Shahasna, Sayyidina Shahasna, and make us sincere ones following Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq and Sayyidina Ali and Sahaba and Ahl Bayt, and make us sincere nation Ummah of Rasulullah, following, loving Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, respecting Rasulullah, surviving the Sunnah of Rasulullah, as well as surviving the obligatories of Allah Almighty, and make us sincere servant to you, Allah Almighty. Bless us by our realities, by divinely love, divinely lives to Allah Almighty. Muhammad al-Habib, Muhammad al-Farah. What is the time? Almost say Asr inshallah. You understand? It's coming from them, not from us. Now this introduction, only 3-4 lines.
Never heard it before. Unheard of, never heard before.
From them, not from them. Also I am hearing as you are hearing, listening as you are listening. The teaching for me and for all of you. Even I need much more than to be able to carry even small crowd, but to carry connect with Allah and God. Not easy. All maqams mentioned, blessed all of us. And all sins and mistakes erased from us now in this moment. Like this, well connected. Otherwise, they will not order me one share and just me the station and no other share.
Always happen in Sri Lanka, man. Always happen in Sri Lanka.
Because here they have good house to listen.
I'm sure.
In other countries, only they want dua, ta'weez, ithm, and bottled water, read, finish. And khatam and zikr. They like only khatam and zikr. And then qasida. They love qasida. They love qasida so much. Yani, mawlid, to make mawlid, qasida and drums to play. This for nowadays, this Sufi way is a concept. To play music, to make qasida, to dance, to chant. Never heard about this all in all Sufi ways. Not only Naqshbandiyya, yani time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu anhu, Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, till Mawlana Shaykh Nazim, never heard by all these dancing and jumping and all kind of musical instrument, and even only used to be read the Mawlid of Rasulullah. They read the Mawlid of Rasulullah, praise Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then stand up with Salat wa Salam of Rasulullah. And for the 40 ways, how in ruku', in sujood, Sami Allah liman hamid, like this, to make zikrullah slowly, not jumping or dancing, or with the feet to step on this. Rasulullah saying, don't do it at all. It is ignorant time for the non-believers. And Rasulullah forbidden it totally. Now they are doing. Also, ways like this. In all the Islamic countries that we go, they don't have anything except there's no more divine knowledge or spiritual knowledge. No one is not connected to bring from the stations of this big awliya, of Sahib al-Zaman, and to live any crowd around. Difficult. There is 124,000 awliya, but Rasulullah telling them to hide themselves, all hidden one. Sometimes they sit between a crowd, they use but you don't realize that awliya like to feel as if they are same level as you, but really they are as Allah Almighty saying for Rasulullah, they are like this with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and with awliya. They have faith with the crowd, faith with Rasulullah, faith with awliya Allah. They are well connected, as Rasulullah used to be connected with heaven, divine presence of Allah Almighty, even sitting between Sahaba, but he was connected with heaven, with Allah Almighty all the time. Whatever anyone talk to him, anything, used to anyone to talk to him, quickly an ayat, wahi will be descending. Allah listening, hearing, because he is connected. Anyone not connected, Allah doesn't call him. And then the connected one is something, the unconnected one is different. Even a big alim, scholar, reformer, and not connected, he gives you from books, very nice knowledge. Because all hadith of Rasulullah, explanation of the Quran, but all not connected. As the Mawlawi of Jum'ah, Friday khutbah, they speak 45 minutes, 1 hour, talking. At the end, everyone looking at his watch, yalla, quickly, we want to take our shoes and go, we have work, enough. Then you ask the one what he said, I was sleeping, I don't remember. And he was saying very nice knowledge, all hadith of Rasulullah and explanation, but not connected. And for this, don't take knowledge from death to death, but take knowledge from alive to alive to the one never die, Allah Almighty. And this only the chain of all awliyaullah with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Allah Almighty. They are the ones who will be forever alive, because Allah created life and giving life to everything. And for this search for such awliya, you will find Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the one who searched and asked Allah Almighty to meet one of them, Allah Almighty is generous to make him meet one, at least in his life, or to find one. Not only the ones, even they are still alive and powerful, whom they are engraved in shrine, but there is still whom they inherit their secrets, still alive. Today of Yawm al-Qiyamah, everyone died, another one will come. But where they are? Before you can see them between people for 70, 80 years. In the last century, you can see the awliya clearly. Then Rasulullah, one day Wahhab will appear, he ordered them to hide. There was no more respect for awliya. No one, anyone respecting awliyaullah. And if the awliya get upset from anyone, Allah will be punishing him. He say, Allah Almighty in the Holy Hadith, Hadith Qudsi, that anyone who harm one of my awliya, I will announce war against him. But anyone harm anyone of my awliya, I will announce war and send godly punishment arrows over him. And I finish it. And for every awliya, Allah appointing always to be a type of awliya, a committee of awliya, especially if anyone not respecting or backbiting or harming, these will punish him. He will not do anything, he forgive them. But this committee of awliya, the one of awliya, they are, Allah appoint them to look after anyone, after all the awliya or prophets, anyone harming them, quickly to punish him. Allah giving them that power, this power. And for this we see anyone unrespecting awliya or harming awliya or backbiting awliya, quickly will be punished by Allah. And subhanAllah, you see the non-Muslims, the Christians, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus, they respect the awliya and the holy people much more than the Muslims. The Muslims, they make fun from them. And from their dress also. They make fun from them. The Muslims. While the non-Muslim, the non-believer, they respect them. Even the Muslims now not respecting Allah Almighty and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, making them for all the Muslim and non-Muslim, unbeliever, to run away from Islam by creating this terrorism and like ISIS, like killing people, like making all this bad example of Islam, showing that Islam is something no one to follow. It is only murdering people, bomb suicidal, finishing people, and this comes not from this. It is from the non-believers. Their intelligence created it between the Muslims, and they send it to make people to run away from Islam, even the Muslims to run away from Islam. Then they send their missionaries paying so much money, especially the Shia. See, in our country, they paying so much salaries, everyone who convert to Shia. Anyone who convert to Christianity, they give him a wife, a car, a house, a job, everything. And Shia the same. The Wahhabi the same. But leave Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, leave Islam, leave Holy Quran. Now even on the mobile telephone, if you put Quran, for example, how many will come? Most majority of them, they play in the ayat. Because no one understands, especially the non-Arabic tongue, and they play, they either change words or ayat or missing some letters and like this. And for this, the Azhar al-Sharif of Masr, Egypt, he said, be careful, especially the one who carrying the iPhones. All the Holy Quran in the iPhones, all of them, they, if you compare it to a Holy Quran, you will see plenty of ayat changing. They said, be careful. Because there is ulama behind all these things to search what is done by the non-Muslims countries. So whenever we want to put a Holy Quran from the app stores, application stores, we first compare it with the Holy Quran, all the ayat of it. If it is the same, then we put it down. Mostly the best is the Android Quran. This is Android, A-N-D-R-O-I-D. This one is, we compare it and the ulama compare it, 100% right. But the other, full with mistakes. They change some of the ayat about children, about Jewish or Christian. The Shia playing also, they make their Quran, call it Fatimi Quran. The Quran, the Holy Quran of Fatima al-Zahra. And they took all the ayat which Allah plays in it with Rasulullah Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu. The ayat Thani Isnaini Bihuma fil Ghar, when Allah mentioned that they were two, and this second of them in the cave of Thor, migrating to Medina, he said, took it out. And all the ayat related to Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, and to some of the Sahaba who they don't like, they took it out. They said it is not really ayat, they put it after Rasulullah. It's not wrong. And they make their own Quran, they call it Fatima, Quran of Fatima. And now they make a new Quran also, but only mentioning ayat related Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu, especially when you read the ayat al-Kursi. Because some part of the Shia, they worship Sayyidina Ali, and they so upset and angry that he want to finish them. When at the end of it, what Allah saying, Ayat al-Kursi, the end of it, what it is? وهو العلي العظيم. Who is Ali? Ali. Sayyidina Ali. Allah saying that himself, that he is Ali, great, the greatest, Al-Azim, utmost Almighty. The Almighty, greatest one is Allah Almighty. But in Arabic it is Al-Ali Al-Azim. And they said they make it as it is Sayyidina Ali. Now they have this sort of Quran. And most of the non-Arabic tongues, they don't understand all of this. And for this they give money, take this Quran, this better than what you are using, more clear, more nicer, well decorated, and it is full of what they want to put inside. For mazhab, for school, yani Shafi'i, Hanafi, Hanbali, and Maliki. All the books, 100 years ago, in the last century, when the Wahhabism appeared, they reprinted it. And they changed totally what Sayyidina Imam Shafi'i said, adding or taking out about awliya or Sufi people, or how to be praying nawafil, or how Rasulullah used to be with the Sahaba. They took all of it and they changed it by everything is bid'ah, haram, wrong. And then now you study and read the book of this mazhab and before mazhab, you will be totally Wahhab. And you say, no, I'm Shafi'i. This is the book of Sayyidina Imam Shafi'i. But really, it's reprinted. If you compare it to the old, before 200 years, or 150 years ago, there, in Islamic countries, there is. Now, if you go to internet, go to the old books of Sayyidina Imam Shafi'i, and get it. Because till now, the Azhar in Egypt, putting the old books and telling people be careful from these new books which put on Sayyidina Imam Shafi'i, or Sayyidina Abu Hanifa, or Sayyidina Ahmad bin Hanbal, or Sayyidina Maliki, or they are changing in that everyone will be graduated as Wahhab, without fear. And he's still studying the forms. But he will be in the fifth mazhab of Wahhab. That is not the Shia the same. And also now, Sufi ways, also the same, they change all the teaching. They tell you this teaching from Mawlana Shaykh Lan Shaykh, Sayyidina Ahmad Qadir Shaykh, all these awliya, but really is not. Never in their life they dance or jump or just by their feet on the floors or make hadrat like this. No, the hadrat according to Sharia, like prayers, to be how to go from Ruku' to Sami Allah liman hamidah, like this, slowly, making for Allah Almighty. And Sayyidina Jalaluddin al-Rumi, Qaddasallahu sirruhu, the Imam of the Mawlawiyya way, big awliya, never he used to give permission to anyone to work of his murid, except if he reached to work by zikrullah and to fly, not to remain on the earth. And when he started to work by zikrullah, mentioning the name of Allah Almighty, he will be flying, rising from the earth. This he will give him permission to work. Otherwise to work and still on the same place, on his feet standing, no permission. And all the people around Sayyidina Jalaluddin Rumi, when he was ordered to stay in Konya, all of them, they used to be godless, Majus. They used to worship the fire, idea, statues. And he saw that to soften their heart cannot be except by the flute. If the shepherd do it for the cattle, And for this he allowed to use the fruit. Even he said it is forbidden, but this cannot be soft in their heart to come to Islam except by his fruit. And for this was given only him between all awliya to use it. He used only the fruit. Then they make all now this instrument and they say Sayyidina Jalaluddin. Never he was used. And he never used the fruit. Only one of his mulis and he would allow to make this nice voice so that their heart will be soft and they want to come to hear from where this voice coming. They used to come to the Zawiyah of Sayyidina Jalaluddin. Little by little, millions it was around in the city, all converted to Islam and followed Islam. Even his father was big awliya, but Allah writing on the Rahim Mahfuz, he will go by that end. Because Allah Almighty ordered in day of promises, after we promise Allah Almighty that you are our Almighty God and you are your weakest servant, He ordered us to make sujood to Him directly. How He ordered Malaik to make sujood to Adam alayhi salam. He ordered all children of Adam, their soul and atoms, to make sujood to Allah Almighty in His presence, and all they saw the face of Allah Almighty. They saw. And so all make sujood to Allah Almighty. They make it 4 times. Some of them they did it once, some twice. And the one who do it twice, good done. 3 times he will be from the cell died like Shaheed. 4th sujood, the one who did it was Siddiqs and Prophets. So his father, he make 1 time sujood. The one make 1 time sujood, all of them, they want to sujood 1 time. The one who goes to sujood 1 time, he has the bad end. So Sayyidina Jalaluddin Rumi was behind his father as he saw that. When his father not making the 2nd one, he pushed him forcefully and make him forceful to make the 2nd sujood to go by his end. And then his father, he told him, even when you die, my son, and they want to bury you, I am going to stand up respecting you because you saved me, not to go by bad hand. And now we see here the grave of Sayyidina Jalaluddin Rumi, another grave of his father stand up. And till day of judgment standing up respecting his son. His son lying down, say the father, that Sayyidina Jalaluddin Rumi's father is standing up till now in his grave. And for this they make the shrine to be standing up, showing that he is still standing up. How much awliya serving spiritually without the feeling of the physical body of the people, saving them from punishment, from bad ends, from angerness of Allah Almighty to come over us like this, they are saving us. And they are not people. And we consider them as their friends, like each other. They are not the easy ones.
Because Mavlavi is naturally.
No different. But from Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq. From Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq was and the miracles of it is by Zikrullah Azza wa Jal to be not anymore using your physical body. Your soul will be blessed, your physical body will enter into your soul and the soul will be flying. While the second secret and the reality from Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq to be busy with the essence of Allah Almighty by the heart, which is the house of Allah Almighty, to reach to make sujood to Allah Almighty, to integrate into your heart, and to make sujood inside your heart with the divine presence of Allah Almighty. To be dressed by your reality. The other one, they don't teach their reality. But the imams of the way treat their reality. The Murid, difficult. While the Naqshbandi Ali away, no one will pass away from this life as a Murid unless he will be blessed by his reality, by Maulana Shaykh Nabi, because he will be passing away. That was when shared by Maulana Shaykh Nabi. But for all times, from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, the one who is responsible for addressing the reality and who witnessed that this is clean and to be given the trust from Rasulullah, Sayyidina Shah al-Naqshbandi, and the one who will bless you by the reality from the hand of Almighty hand of Allah Almighty till the end. From that time till the end, the seed of our grandchildren, they are the one responsible for this. All the golden chain or 7,007 Imam of the Siddiq way, Naqshbandi Ali, on this. If not attending the meeting, giving the amana to one, will not be given from Rasulullah. One witnessing and completing the one totally, the second, the seed of awliya, blessing him by his reality and spirituality, by the light of reality from Allah Almighty and Rasulullah. They are not in this meeting where to be given the trust, amana to that murid. Rasulullah will not do. Even all prophets witness he is good and he is clean until they will be present. If they are not present, means he is not yet to be given this secret. Time for us.